This has serious implications for the New York Rangers as we have a new update on one player nearing a return from injury. We have multiple other injury reports which could spell trouble for the New York Rangers, as well as some very puzzling lineup decisions and the reasoning behind them. We're going to break that down in this video, but before we do, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. About 70% of you who watch your videos are not actually subscribed to the channel, so if you want to do yourself a favor, it's free. Hit that subscribe button and you get to stay up to date with everything New York Rangers. And what a fantastic start to the season for the New York Rangers. First in the Metropolitan Division on the season so far. Yes, a young season, but a great start to the season for the Rangers with only one overtime loss to show for it so far. And they're rolling into another game tonight against the Montreal Canadiens, but they might be without one of their best players. And let's jump right into it without further ado. Again, this is from Molly Walker. It says today. This was actually at the skate yesterday. At the time of recording this, they haven't gone on for morning skate yet, and we're not sure if Lafreniere will even play, but that's right. Lafreniere was not skating yesterday, and he was considered yesterday as day-to-day with an upper body injury. Now, this is a mysterious injury. They're not going into any detail whatsoever. It's just a upper body injury at this point in time, and I think that's pretty interesting because he played a very good game in Toronto on Saturday night, obviously scoring a goal and continuing to do what he does so far this season and building off that confidence from last year. But I thought this was very, very interesting that he's considered day-to-day, and that is from Peter Laviolette himself, day-to-day. So he could be in the lineup tonight. He could not be. We could see him later in the week. But the one thing I thought was the most interesting, as the Rangers have already traveled to Montreal, and that this happened yesterday. He wasn't skating. They could have just said it was maintenance, but now they're saying day-to-day with an upper body injury. The thing I think was the weirdest is he was skating yesterday. He did skate yesterday, but he didn't skate with the main group. And this is from Colin, who's been great as well on Twitter with everything New York Rangers. And he goes on to say, it looks like Laf is okay, folks. And if you watch the video, it's about a 20-second video that he recorded from, I guess, just a skate Lafreniere was doing with a couple development coaches. He seems to look fine. He was taking shots. I'm not sure what the upper body injury is or why he's even day-to-day, but he was skating around, taking shots, and doing not a regular skate, but he was on the ice participating in just shooting around. So obviously did not practice with the main group, but I think there is, maybe not too much concern there because yes, he was on the ice, he was skating, he was able to shoot. So, upper body, you're thinking maybe a hand or maybe arm or something like that. Could be a shoulder. Again, all speculation, but thought it was pretty interesting that he was on the ice just by himself shooting, but he looked okay. It could just literally be day-to-day. He could even be in the lineup tonight, like I mentioned, but something to keep an eye on if he's kept out of the lineup tonight and if it's something that could linger longer into the future. Hopefully not. In terms of injury updates, we're going to get to Lindgren in a second because he is getting closer and closer to making his debut, and that's going to affect the rest of the lineup. We're going to get into that shortly, but an injury to New York Rangers prospect, and this is from Forever Blue Shirts. Brendan Othman clouds successful Wolfpack weekend. And if you get into the article a little bit, the Hartford Wolfpack had a great, I know a lot of the attention's on the NHL squad right now, the New York Rangers, but we were talking a lot in the offseason, the preseason, about who's going to Hartford and that they should have a pretty good season this year too. They won 2 of 3 games this past weekend in a 3-3, but the New York Rangers affiliate in the American Hockey League also sustained a significant blow to their roster, and that is Brendan Othman. He went down with an upper body injury in a 5-4 overtime win against Bridgeport on Saturday, and he did not return, and the Rangers organization, or I guess Hartford, have not given any update yet. So he went out of the game, he left the game, he did not return, and it's another upper body injury. So this is another guy who, with any injuries coming at the NHL level, this was a guy that I assumed would be called up first, maybe second. I think first in my mind at least, but he's injured, and hopefully it's nothing significant that's going to hold him out a long time because, you want him to put together a really good season in the AHL this year and take steps towards making the NHL squad next year because, they're really going to have to rely on a guy like this in the NHL next year with a lot of the salary cap restructuring they're going to have to do this coming summer. So hopefully it's nothing that keeps him out long term, but there is your injury update for Brennan Othman. And then on the other side of things, Ryan Lindgren again was on the ice yesterday for New York Rangers practice. This again from Molly Walker. Still in a full face shield. And yeah, you can copy and paste this sentence at any point over the last couple of weeks, the last little while. He's been participating in regular practice. He even participated on a regular line in the morning skate before the game against Toronto on Saturday. With the full face shield, but did not play that game, which I thought was very interesting. And there was another interesting lineup decision we're going to get to from that game, which may change tonight, but I wanted to touch on it a little bit because Peter Laviolette had some interesting comments about it. But to stay on this for a second, Ryan Lindgren is nearing a return. He's very close. He's about a game or two away, I would think, at this point. He's taking part in full practice. I'm not sure if they want to get him out of the full face shield first. We've seen people play with it before. I don't know exactly what the holdup is, but there's been no reports on that or how close exactly he is to a return, but it sounds like he's about a game or two away. He's practicing in a regular, he's practicing regularly with the team now and, on a regular line like he was on Saturday. So it seems like that's the case again today. So he is nearing a return. That is good news for the New York Rangers. Now, another update and some interesting lineup decisions that the Rangers were making over the last couple of days, the last couple of weeks, the last couple of games is Victor Mancini, of course, got into the lineup against Toronto. There was some speculation that he would be coming out. He did not. He has, I keep using the word solidified for certain people. I'm not going to use that word in this case anymore because anything can happen on any given night in any given game because there's so much fluidity through this lineup so far, especially on the back end. So Zac Jones comes out of the lineup. Victor Mancini stays in the lineup. I think most Rangers fans would agree with that, especially, that decision from Peter Laviolette because Mancini's been playing fantastic. He's been a surprise all, preseason coming into this season. He has kind of carved his spot on the team right now. Like he's carved himself a nice little spot there. And Zac Jones hasn't really been a difference maker so far this year. He had a great showing last year and he has that NHL experience. But coming into this year, he hasn't really shown anything that's blown anyone away, right? I'm not saying he's necessarily been bad, but they wanted to get Ruedwedel in the lineup against Toronto. And Laviolette went on to say that, we're going to have tough decisions that are tough. I'm perfectly fine playing anybody, but we got decisions that we have to make. Conversations I've had with Zach are just keep working hard. And when you get back in there, just keep doing your thing. So the message is very clear from Peter Laviolette. This isn't something, Ruedwedel's not going to be in the lineup forever, like every single game. This is just a situation he wanted to get him into the game, and Zac Jones hasn't, outplayed Victor Mancini at this point. And we have another very interesting quote from Peter Laviolette on that as well. It was about getting Rudy out there and getting him an opportunity to play because you know what? The last couple games and since the start of the season, you have a seventh defenseman. He's kind of sitting, out every game. Why not get him into a game, get him involved? And he went on to say he's been waiting and working hard every day. I would have been perfectly fine rolling back the same lineup, but we made some decisions, and those decisions are going to continue to be made. And I think this also may have something to do with, trying to ignite a spark under Zac Jones because he's not, again, I'm not saying he's necessarily playing bad, but I think that they know and Laviolette knows that there's another gear there. There's another level he can reach. So maybe he's trying to get that out of him, a little bit of motivation. You didn't play tonight, work yourself back into the lineup, show up to practice, do all these things, be a good pro. And I think, he'll be fine. He'll work his way back into the lineup. But it's going to be interesting when Lindgren comes back. Let me know in the comments. I'm interested to find out what everyone's thinking. When Lindgren comes back, he's obviously going to be in the lineup. You can't have Ryan Lindgren making the money he makes out of the lineup, right? He's going to come back. He's going to play as a regular. Who do you take out of the lineup? Is it Zac Jones or is it Mancini? I think in terms of taking somebody out, it might be Zac Jones at this point. But let me know in the comments what you think. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything New York Rangers.